All right, here Michelle Pozzie with the famous your name,
Allie Legge.
Allie. We are open mic
Putting
with
that we're
Allie.
changing it. It's Allie Legge from just
Allie,
here on out, because that's it.
if it's Tarjay, we should definitely be able to say Leger.
Legge. Yes.
Leger.
All right.
We are unfiltered with open mic, guys. We're so grateful that you joined us. Of course, this used to be Up News, our time slot, but Allie and I are co-hosts of the Home Front, which has just wrapped season 1, and we are on hiatus until season 2. And you just can't give us idle hands because we'll just create more things to do. So that's
There's
why we're
too much
here.
to do.
Too much to do. Tell us where you're at right now,
I'm
Allie.
currently in Washington, D.C.
Wonderful.
I am working with Moms for America, which, as you guys know, is my day job,
Hmm.
as their National Director for Civic Engagement. And what we're doing up here is we're advocating against the E.A.T.S Act. So essentially, the E.A.T.S Act gives access to the CCP to control our farmland. And as moms and as parents and as citizens of America, we need to make sure that we continue to maintain individual sovereignty, which means we have
Nice.
the ability to choose which market we want to have our food from, right? We don't need to make a bigger corporation a monopoly. That's already a monopoly. It's one of four. Smithfield's
Nice.
is one of four companies that owns the pork industry, and they are owned and bought and paid for by the CCP. So not just individual sovereignty, which relies on choice, but also state sovereignty. You cannot have
Right, right.
federal laws, right, that demand that another country can own the farmland within a state. That completely divulges, it's like a slippery slope. Like, what's
Right.
next? If we completely deregulate and allow other countries to buy our farmland, what's next, right?
What's
This is like
next?
literally taking a sledgehammer to an ant when it comes to states' rights. And also when it comes to national sovereignty. This is a
Yes.
national security issue. Why? Because a country that is communist owns or will own most of the farmland. And that
Right,
is not
right.
okay in America. And so we're up here advocating to our senators mostly because the House is on board with denying and not passing and stopping the E.A.T.S Act. But a lot of the senators are kind of in the middle. You know how we have
Right.
a very lopsided Congress. So we're up here trying to make sure that they understand their proper role of office and their assignment. And they need
And
to
I
stop the E.A.T.S Act. So that's what
I
I'm doing.
think every mom out there in America has been through this, but have you ever tried to tell a mom what to not or what to feed her child?
No.
Every woman's different. Every parent's different, and I think that's a big issue. I'm so glad for Moms for America is there picking up the slack there, and I'm sure they're so happy when you walk in the room.
It is. It's a lot of fun. We had a training yesterday, and we're here with, like, I think, moms from 18 different states.
Nice. Nice.
Good
Well,
stuff.
guys, I want to switch gears real quick. We're gonna take uh, real quick. Oh, shoot, let me see if I can get this. Keep rolling. We're having technical difficulties.
Guys, it's
Allie,
the first show.
I have to ask you because I just noticed we were talking a little bit before we went live that James Earl Jones died.
I know.
James Earl Jones, guys, this is the guy that is the voice of Mufasa. He's the voice of Darth Vader.
Darth Vader. I mean,
My
wasn't he the voice
generation.
of God in a movie? I don't. Am I thinking of the wrong guy? I don't know. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I just
I'm not
realized,
sure.
Allie, that is what's wrong with our whole generation. We had the voice of God also being the voice of Mufasa. So confused.
It's like so many voices.
Oh,
But
but
that
he's
is so
iconic.
sad. I know. Definitely an
Iconic.
iconic man. Really great actor and just an all around icon. And I'm so sad to see and to hear that he has passed on.
He died at age 93. I was just reading on the Associated Press.
What? 93?
93. And he did do a voice on, speaking of voice of God, he did the voice on the Bible app as well. So, and
See?
that's
I was close.
no wonder why I'm so triggered now when I watch Lion King. I'm like, wait a minute. Is it First
God.
Corinthians or Mufasa? I'm so confused. Oh,
Oh
anyway.
my gosh.
Yeah, sad day. Sad day today. I'm so sorry.
Was
What's
that today? That was the
that broke overnight. So I'm not sure if it was this morning or last night, but yeah, I woke up to that sad news. Um, pretty sad. So what do we think about the debate? I know America's getting ready to watch some people. I know some people aren't going to tune in, but I think it's good entertainment. The debate tonight between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. It's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And of all places, the Constitution Center. Maybe Kamala's read it by now. I don't know. Um,
I doubt it.
what do you think?
I
Well, what are we in store for?
highly doubt it. I think it'll just be entertainment, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't think they're both terrible debaters. Um, I think what's going to be interesting is the muted mic, right? I think it's going to keep her from saying being like the extreme feminist that they're trying to push her to be.
Mm,
Excuse me, I'm talking, mean white man.
yeah.
You
To
know what I
Mike
mean?
Pence, of course. Yeah. Remember how
Right.
many times she did
So
that? Yes.
and because those will be sound bites, and I really think that that's what she's trying to get is just sound
Yeah.
bites against Donald Trump. But I think as long as he sticks to policy and continues to push forward, we
Yeah.
were better off 4 years ago, and she is currently the vice president. And if everything that her and Biden did was so great, why is she trying to undo it day one when she's vice
Mm,
president right now? Like, I think it'll be interesting. I
absolutely.
have friends of mine that are going to play a drinking game. So we'll see how it
Bingo.
goes.
We're playing bingo. I'm going to play bingo.
Bingo. I
Yeah.
love the bingo.
Yeah, I love it. I love it
Love
every
the bingo.
time. Every time they
It'll be
mention
fun.
borders are like you get a chip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
I heard rumors that she was wanting it to be a sit down, have a
Yeah.
desk. She wanted to be able to have notes. Do you know what they decided on? Is she going to get to have cheat sheets?
I don't think she does. I think it's standing. I think the original. I think it was the original agreement is what we're going to see tomorrow or today.
Okay.
Today?
All right.
It's today, right?
Today. It's today. You're traveling, so that's why you don't know what time it is. By the way, are you in a safe place there? You're in Washington D.C., so just want
Yes.
to.
This is why I'm not doing it in the street. I don't want to be accosted. No, I am on the rooftop of my hotel, and I figured it would be a nice scenery, just something a little different than just the backdrop of my house or in the hotel room.
We're there with you in
When you
spirit.
travel and you only see four inside of four walls, and you don't really get to enjoy the outdoor space. So, and it's beautiful. It is nice and cool out. The sun is rising. It's not my face, and it's just really pretty. So,
Very pretty. You actually get a little bit of season there, unlike where we're at.
yeah.
Going back to the debates, so I remember when Trump did that now synonymous debate with Joe Biden, where all of America saw what we finally knew was that he was dilapidated and currently not running the country, because there's no way he couldn't run the country if he can't run a debate. But they had no studio audience for that debate with Joe Biden. They've
Yeah.
kind of been talking about whether or not what kind of an audience are they going to have. Have you heard anything about the
I
debate
don't
with
know.
Kamala?
I haven't heard anything. I didn't even think about that, to be honest. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm not sure. Do you think it would make a difference?
I mean, I wonder. I think it's going to be very telling, because Pennsylvania is one of the swing states. We want to see what the
I
reaction's
don't think
like
so
there.
anymore. I really think Pennsylvania is a Trump country. So, to be honest with
I
you.
know, but they're feeding us other, these false polls are feeding us other
Well, they're
information.
feeding
They
us
want
false
to.
everything. Haitians aren't eating cats in the street. Um, they're not Venezuelan gangs are not taking over apartment buildings. That's not happening. I don't know
Not
what
happening.
you're talking about. Even though we have eyewitness testimony and eyewitness videos, whatever you're seeing on the internet, it's not true. Whatever's coming out of my mouth is true. Kamala Harris was never border czar. She's not currently the vice president. She can't do anything. She has an amazing record of tried and true and all this nonsense. No, we're being gaslit by narcissists. Like
100%. Oh my gosh, 100%. I was watching this video this morning, preparing for this, and watching the last debate that Kamala did, when she, of course, because she was never on a ticket to
yeah,
run for president in the primary. So I always like to ask people when they're tell me how wonderful Kamala is, and as a woman, I should want to see the first woman president in Kamala Harris, just like I should have wanted to see it in Hillary Clinton. And I ask, especially if they're a Democrat voter, so when did you vote for Kamala Harris to be the nominee,
That's a
because
great question.
they've totally subverted the entire Democrat process. And we've said this before, Allie, you and I, that Donald Trump is supposed to be the person that was supposed to bring the end to democracy, right? He was supposed to be this tyrant. And here you have the Democratic Party doing that all in one full swoop with Kamala Harris. But I remember when Tulsi Gabbard debated Kamala and really handed her her butt with what she had done back then in California. Are you familiar with some of the heinous policies that that Kamala had, including the charges that she would bring people up on for just really petty, like marijuana possession?
Right, it was like petty crime, and she was giving them like life sentences. It was insane.
Yeah.
And so her, when they talk about having that, she has a very consistent record. It is consistent with communism.
It's
It's a terrible record. I mean, if you
absolutely
look at her policies while she was an attorney in California, even a senator, the things that she pushed forward and advocated for is all very heavy-handed, very
yeah,
communist,
right.
very Marxist in nature.
Mhm.
And think about that as she's vice president, and think about that as she's running to be president. That's the
Mm.
kind of person we're going to get if you continue to push her forward and vote for her, which I don't think many people are going to, honestly.
Right, right.
But it's important that this is why I say to people, you have to connect what they do while they're in office with the campaign trail, because it has to be synonymous. You have to connect them both. It can't be one or the other.
Right. Yeah, 100%. And I liked when we were running against Joe Biden, because at least we had a 4-year report card. But I think it's important that we tie everything that is under the Biden regime to Kamala Harris. She's been
Yes.
the border czar. I know they've said that's fake news, but and
She's
then
second in command.
and she's allowed us to have like a weekend at Bernie's type of president and not said anything. She knew, obviously, had to have known of his cognitive decline if he ever had it to begin with. And I think, we have to always hold her accountable for what's happened in the last 4 years. She has to own the southern border. I hope that he doubles down on that tonight.
I do too. I hope so. I mean, I was going to say something and I totally lost it, but it's fine.
You're only on a rooftop, Allie.
Right. Well, but when you're talking about the weekend at Bernie's, I mean, he's taken 48 days of vacation.
Yeah.
Who's running our country right now?
Days of vacation. Wait a minute. I want to know what that paid time off policy is.
I mean, so how is it that she, as being second in command, has not been able to wear that hat properly? If the first in command is not able to do the job, you have to be able to step into that place and do the job, and she hasn't been able to, and she's pushing it off as like, oh, when I'm president, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Lady, you're currently acting president right now. Like, why can't you do things right now?
Absolutely. And the other thing I hope he holds her feet to the fire on is the Afghanistan withdrawal.
Yes.
Because she has said in many interviews that she was the last one out of that room, and he wanted to make sure that, and they've asked her, even after we lost 13 service members, she said, she was in an interview and she said, they asked her, they tried to give her a second chance, like, are even knowing the people that we've lost, are you still confident in the decision that was made? And she doubled down on it. And I saw a press conference yesterday with some of the families, and they're saying, look, we're not red or blue, we're not Democrat or Republican, but this current regime, and they use that word, regime, failed us. I'm hoping that he doubles down on that as well today.
I hope so too. I mean, when her campaign fully attacked Gold Star families,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
an amazing video came out. Even I think Trump even put together like a montage of them speaking out about what they witnessed with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. They invited them to the Arlington Cemetery to lay the wreaths on the anniversary of the 13.
Which they said then was a campaign move.
Listen, of course they're going to say that, but it is what it is. I mean, they were invited, they didn't show up, and what happens when losers lose? Sore losers lose. They blame the winner, right?
Yeah,
they
right.
blame the other person, or they make it seem like it's something that it's not.
Yeah.
We're in a narcissistic relationship with our current government.
I love it.
I can't.
Because our current government is a narcissist,
Yes.
an abusive narcissist at that.
Abusive.
This is, I think, it was funny. We're talking about the Afghanistan withdrawal and tying it to Kamala, and I'm thinking, weren't we just here in 2016 tying, in the late, what, 20, when was Benghazi? Refresh my memory.
Oh gosh,
Google.
my memory is
But you
terrible.
know what I mean? Tying
Yeah,
that
no,
to
for sure.
Hillary Clinton, and
And Barack Obama.
but Trump did such
Absolutely.
a great job in it.
Yeah,
I
2016.
think he's a good debater. I know
I
you
mean,
disagree,
I do
but like
too,
the
but
lock her up thing was
I
pretty fire.
right. I think he's got really good moments. I do. I think he's got really good moments. I'm really just excited because I loved how he behaved during the Biden when he was. Oh my gosh, I just had a Biden.
Just had a Biden.
With
Cheers to that.
right, with the debate between him and Biden, I think he did a great job, and so
Yeah,
I
he
think
did.
it's gonna be something definitely most people I think should watch.
He was presidential, and I think at this time, though, Allie, it's just like with Hillary. I think it's different when you're a man debating a woman because you can't be quite as harsh. I don't know.
Right.
You're
Don't
still
don't
going
be
after that.
belligerent, right? Like stick to the facts. Don't get
Don't go
emotional.
after. Don't
Put
call
your
her a
back
hyena.
in.
Don't call her a laughing hyena. Like,
Right.
yeah. I'm with you. All right, I want to shift gears real quick, and I know this is really a sensitive and heavy topic, but let's talk about the Georgia school shooting. Um, Horrific what took place. I was reading earlier this morning that, and I know it's not always a trusted source, but X has had a lot of posts recently. Even libs of TikTok has come out posting memoirs from and posts from the shooter,
Wow.
and realizing that obviously bullying was an issue. We have that issue in our schools. We've always had that. We've had that when you and I were younger too. But you tie that into this identity crisis that our country's going through, our identity crisis that the young people are going through. We're not allowed to say that they need God because, can't.
The 14-year-old suspect in the Georgia school shooting and his father both making court appearances on murder charges after the rampage that left 4 dead at Appalachia High School. ABC's Faith Abube is in Winder, Georgia with the latest. Faith, good morning.
Good morning to you, Whit. This is only the second case we've seen here in this country where a parent has been arraigned on felony charges after their child allegedly carried out a deadly school shooting. Victims I've been talking to here on the ground tell me they're glad to see the accountability extend to the suspect's father as well.
This morning, a stunning moment in a Georgia courtroom. Father and son appearing back to back, both charged in connection with a shooting that killed 2 students and 2 beloved teachers at Appalachia High School.
Shelter in place does not work. The shelter in place does not work at all. I think it is important that we look to other solutions that can evacuate during a situation like this. I actually did an interview with a couple of inventors that have created something that I think would be very helpful. I can't really speak on it right now because it hasn't really come out. And when I have the clearance to do that, you guys will be the first to know. But there have been some folks in the background that have seen this, that have witnessed this, that understand that there's a need, and they have figured out a really great solution. And it's to evacuate, honestly, and it helps. And not just in school shooting situations, but it can help in like arenas. Like if there's a school shooting or like a shooting in your arena, or a shooting in a church, or if there's a fire, or if there's some kind of emergency. This whole stay in place, shelter in place doesn't work for any situation. It really doesn't. So making sure that we have safe evacuations that will keep the patrons safe, the children safe, but also assist the first responders into getting where they need to go in the proper time so that, excuse me, they can mitigate the threat as quickly as possible without injury. And I think that's really what we all want. And this is not a right or left issue. This is an everyday American issue. This is a parent issue. This is a down the middle aisle issue. So it doesn't matter where you land on the spectrum. Everybody wants safe schools. Everybody wants safe environments. And when you try to strip away your God-given right to protect yourself under any circumstances, you are allowing criminals who do not abide by the law to have weapons that we do not have. And it really is always a good person with a weapon that takes down somebody that has bad intentions with a weapon. And honestly, it's never the weapon. Have you guys ever seen that video? It's not the nail. Look it up on YouTube. It's really funny. It's not about the nail. It is not about the gun. It is about the intent behind it, which is why we have intent when we talk about trials and murder cases and things like that. The intent is very important to understand when someone does these things. But also, and I know we talk about having that it's a mental health issue. Are these people on SSRIs? I know most of them, especially the school shooters and the church shooters, have been trans, and no one's really talking about that either. And I think that is important to discuss. And maybe we could discuss it here. I don't know how you guys feel about that. What are your thoughts on that? Like always, we always want to know what you guys are thinking and what you guys are talking about so that we can address it and we can have this conversation.
All right, good morning, sir. Are you Mr. Colt Gray?
Yes, sir.
Colt Gray, the 14-year-old, sitting just feet away from the families of his alleged victims.
You are charged with 4 counts of felony murder.
Moments later, his father, 54-year-old Colin Gray, brought in shackled, rocking back and forth, a judge charging him with multiple felonies, second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter among them. Investigators say Gray knowingly allowed his underage son.
I want to say less than 60 days before the election. So make sure you are going out, right, to register people. Make sure that they are registered. Check to see if you are registered. Just double check. Okay. Yes, you may know that you're registered already, but just go and double check, because there have been instances around the country where people have gone to go vote and they had realized that they were not registered to vote. And you are back. I'm so excited. I was talking about voting. I had already talked about the school shooting and all that, and like
that was so weird. It was like I mentioned LGBT. FBI said nope.
I mean, I said that most of the shooters nowadays have been trans, and we need to talk about it.
All right.
So, and I was
it's true.
But it is true.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. Well, and that's what they said, is that he had been bullied, and obviously that's the conversation we need to have, is why are we so hateful? Why is there so much hate and so much identity crisis that?
But then it's not even just that. Like, where is, with all of this social emotional learning, right, that our kids are indoctrinated with, all of this, where is the ability to rise above when someone is putting you down? Where is that? Where is the? Oh my gosh, how do you even say that?
I hate to use the word, because they've now coined this, and it turned it into something bad because they steal the language. But it's like resiliency, right? It's the ability to bounce back. It's the ability to, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never harm me. It's that mentality. I don't know where.
And I get it. Like, words start wars, right?
Right.
It's true. Words start wars. So just be mindful of what you're saying. Like, that's really all that. Be mindful of what you say to other people. And a lot of times, when children are bullied or are bullies, there's a lack of empathy. There's a lack of attention. There's a lack of feeling heard. There's a lack of love. There's a lack. Right. And this is why they put other people down. This is why the children are being abusive to one another, because one, they're seeing it, or they're experiencing lack of self-identity, lack of all these things. Right. And we're supposed to, over the last, a couple of years, 3-4 years, we've been told that the schools are supposed to teach our children, how to be better citizens, how to be better community members with SEL and diversity, equity, inclusion, and all these things. But none of it is done. The return on investment has been deadly.
Absolutely. And now this is, and I know,
talking point like that's freaking soundbite.
Absolutely.
It's so
the DEI is deadly, not the gun. And the thing that drives me nuts on this is, and you'll understand this coming from the parental rights umbrella, and all the hard work that Moms for America and Moms for Liberty has done under this umbrella. Now they've arrested the dad. They're charging the dad, possibly rightfully so. Because he bought the gun even after, as a hunting weapon, even after he knew that his son had some issues. So that can be a whole nother debate of itself. But you're not going to let parents be able to, here in Florida, if a certain amendment passes, Amendment 4, you're not going to be able to allow parents to have their own consent whether their child has an abortion, a 14-year-old. You're not going to allow, in some areas like Tampon Tim's, Minnesota, they can't, you can't have any say over your child deciding whether or not they want to have puberty blockers or have sex change, but you're going to hold them responsible here. So it's like you want parental accountability, but you don't want any parental rights. This is a total, it's what they do, right? They
Make up your mind,
hijack.
you can't have it both
Absolutely.
ways.
You
And I
can't
think
have it
it's
both
slippery-
ways.
You can't. And I think it's a slippery slope to charge a parent for what the child does. I
Mm.
know that seems like justice. It's not justice. That's communism.
Right.
I'm gonna
And can we just say,
someone else? That's not okay.
can we just say there's never been a school shooting in a place, in a school yet, that has armed and fully trained teachers? And I know people are thinking I'm like wild, wild west over here, but I want to say there is a college in Florida. I won't say the name, but a simple Google search will show you who it is. There is a college in the state of Florida, private college, that went ahead in I believe it's Polk County because it's Grady Judd's territory, but went ahead and deputized their professors that wanted to.
Right. They can do
That wanted to. They went through the same training that deputies go through. And you don't know when you step on that campus whether you're in a classroom with somebody who's had that deputies training and is packing. And the entire campus, there's no walls or fences around that campus. It is an open campus, but because it's a hardened target. And I don't know, Allie, how do you feel about doing that? I almost feel like, because it was a school resource officer that intervened, same school resource officers that Kamala said makes schools feel like prisons. Well, maybe we need to harden them a little bit. But what do you think about offering teachers that ability?
I think that makes people uneasy that understand. I do think that having that, I can understand why that makes people uneasy. I think it's a solution, or it could be a part of a solution, a partial solution.
Right.
But honestly, nothing has changed since Columbine when it comes to protecting students.
Yeah.
I was in high school when Columbine happened.
Yeah.
I think I was like a freshman, maybe sophomore. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
nothing has changed, and this shelter in place doesn't work. It doesn't work. And I explained this while you were on your hiatus, I guess.
I was warming up my
I don't know
coffee.
what happened. But I did an interview with some inventors and some people that have come up with a really great solution. It's a safer way to evacuate using very, very, very minimal, very simplistic ideas. By reutilizing and reinventing something that already exists within the buildings, and it not only can assist with helping patrons in any situation, whether it's at a school, a church, or an arena, or a mall, or wherever it is, it also helps assist the first responders into getting to the places that they need to be, whether somebody's injured, somebody's hurt, or to mitigate a threat. And they're not guessing. They know exactly where to go utilizing this new technology.
Absolutely.
And I think it's perfect. It's great. Everybody, they've done tests in Texas. They've been on Capitol Hill. They've demonstrated it. I don't know why no one's really talking about it. They haven't really quite gone public yet.
Right.
But I'm really excited about it. I think it's a solution that everybody can get behind. It's not a left or right issue. It's not a gun versus anti-gun issue. It is a down the middle. This is a simple solution. We need to figure this out in order for us to have safe places.
Allie, I can't believe we're almost out of time. We've only got a few seconds left. I wish you the rest of your trip is so wonderful there in Washington, D.C. Stay safe. Don't wear your red hat while you're there. All right.
I mean, I'm walking around with my Mom's from America shirt.
Show that off, girl. Show that off.
All kinds of dirty looks.
Who cares? Who cares? Guys, that's it for Allie and I here on Open Mic. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.